Hi everyone, it's Rob Watson, the module tutor for TECH1002, and in this short video presentation I will give you an overview of the topics that we'll cover in the 9th lecture of our series of lectures. So we're making good progress, making steady progress through the lecture series for this. I've made the PowerPoint presentation. As ever, it's got lots of images and it's got lots of video clips in there. So it's a good multimedia interactive presentation. So I won't share the PowerPoint presentation itself, but as ever, I will share the lecture notes that are available via the DMU Commons Wiki. And if you can't remember the address, it's wiki.dmu.ac.uk. wiki.dmu.ac.uk. You should be able to recite that in your sleep before too long. If you just go to the TECH1002 page and if you look down to follow the link for the workshop lecture notes, there we go, you'll be able to find the notes for these and you can download them. There's a link to them. There's some reading for this week, which is it's Howard Rheingold book, Net Smarts. And it's the chapter 3, which is about the power of participation and the role that participation occupies in terms of network and social media. Participation is a really crucial issue and a crucial subject for us to be thinking about and discussing. So the kind of questions and the kind of conversations that we want to start to make sure that we're having in the workshop sessions that we run each week are wrapped around both what we do in the lecture and what we read about as the supplementary material. And remember, what I've done is I've broken down the reading material and listed it throughout against each of the subjects of the lectures, so that you don't have to read it all in one big go. You can read a chapter a week, which is more relevant. You can read it in one go if you want to, but you can break it down as well. There's also a programme to watch, which is The Sound of Song, which is the 3rd episode of the BBC documentary about the history of recorded music and how we share music. So it's really relevant to the topic that we're covering at the moment. It's got some really great examples and some discussion about the role that technology plays in shaping our understanding of popular music. So what we're going to cover in more detail this week, we're on a bit of a journey. We're heading in a direction of thinking about how music has been shared in the past from person to person. Then we looked at the way that music was developed as something which was mediated through technology. So it was through shared printed sheet music or shared analog recordings. Then we've moved to look at how digital technology has been used to share music. What we want to look at in a bit more detail this week is how music has been used or music is presently made available to us and understood through the kind of data analytics process. So really getting into some detail about the things that drive in the background some of the approaches to music sharing. And we touched on this last week in some we skated across it really, but we want to look at this in a bit more detail this week. And look at some of the ways that the music industry and the media industry generally is using data to inform us about, or to inform themselves about how people make choices about music, what they share, what they like, what they recommend. You know that question that you sometimes get asked by your sharing service if you use Spotify or Apple or Amazon, if you liked this, you might like this. That doesn't come from nowhere. That's data-driven. There's an algorithm behind that kind of projects onto you, and that's quite contentious. And there's people like Noel Gallagher, lead singer of Oasis, who really kind of rails against that and says music shouldn't be confined to an algorithm and the choice of a few global media corporations. So this isn't a free and easy ride for the major computer firms. This is a contested space, and there's a politics to this, and there's a kind of set of practices that we as consumers and at the kind of the purchasing end of this maybe don't realise that we've got a bit more power than we have, and whether we choose to engage and give up our data and give up our information is a different, maybe a topic for another lecture in the future. So we're going to look at the idea of how fans can get involved in crowdsourcing music projects and media projects. and how we can use fans themselves can create a buzz around an artist or a performer, so that somebody breaks through into the what we might call the mainstream, or we might call kind of popular culture. And we'll look at some of the ways that the advice that's given about how this is achieved. And we'll look at some examples of music. We'll look at some sites that bands use to promote themselves, their social media pages, how they use Twitter, how they use Facebook, that kind of thing. There'll be some videos to go along with this, so hopefully it'll be kind of fairly illustrative and entertaining. So bring your notebooks, bring your pens, be prepared to kind of sit and doodle and let the process unfold. You can read the notes in advance if you wish, but otherwise be there nice and early on Thursday morning.